Hey guys, welcome back. In this tutorial I'm going to show you the navigation concept used in UI5, and it's just a basic demonstration of how you can navigate between pages in a UI5 application. So without wasting time, let's get started here. I have my UI5 project called UI5_project, and inside which I've created a view, and the view name is view1. Okay, and for that we have a corresponding view1 controller here, and I have my index.html page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, my requirement is that I have to navigate from page 1 to page 2, or view 1 to view 2. So for that, what I need to do is, in my case, in a simple use case, I'm just going to place a button in page 1, and I'm going to navigate to the different page called page 2 or view 2. Okay, so this is the use case what I have. And when I have a button on page 2, I am going to click on the button on page 2, and it navigates me back to page 1. Okay, so this is the kind of scenario what I will be working on. So for that, I need to create a new view. Okay, here we have view 1, and now I'm going to create a new view. For that, we need to right click on UI5_project, your project name, and then right click new and click on other. And here you will find a folder called SAP UI5 application development, and from that you have to choose a view, click on next, and you have to give a meaningful name for your view. In my case, I'm going to give it as view 2, and I'm going to use a JavaScript view. Okay, in this case, in our situation, we will be talking about JavaScript views. Okay, so this is my page 2. Okay, so I'll give the title of the page as page 2, and for view 1 I'm going to give the title as page 1. Okay, so I'll save this, and I'll come back to view 1, and what I'm going to do is, I need to place a button in this view. Okay, so for that I'll create an object of a button called O button. Okay, and I'm going to use the library called sap.m library here, new sap.m.button library. Okay, which creates a button for you, and the button object is stored in O button. Okay, now I'll have to give an ID for the button called in this case I'll give it as button 1. Okay, and then comma, and then you have to give a text for the button. Okay, in our case I'll give it as click me. Okay, and I have my press event. Okay, the press event is triggered when you click on the button. Okay, so I'm going to give a meaningful name for this event. Okay, for you to mention the event name, you have to use the O controller, the controller object. Okay, I'm going to copy this, and you have to give a meaningful name for the event. In our case, I'm going to give it as nav2. Okay, so this is basically like the function code what you assign to a button in module pull programming. If you have done it before, you will be knowing that you have to give a function code associated for any button what you create in module pull programming. So it's similar to that. In our case, I'm going to give the name as nav2. Okay, put a semicolon. Now what you have to do is, you have to go to the controller. Now you're mentioning it as O controller nav2. Okay, so you have to specify this nav2 inside the controller of the view. Okay, what is the controller of the view? View 1 controller. You're going back to the view 1 controller, you write nav2. Okay, then colon function, and inside this, whatever you write inside this will be triggered once you click the button on view 1. Okay, so this is what it is about, creating a button and assigning a function code or event associated with the clicking of the button. Okay, that's what I'm trying to convey to you. And what I need to do now is, in the index.html page, if you go, you can see that there is an app container. Okay, and in this app container I'm placing the page, the initial page what is created when you, by default, when you create the application. Okay, that is pointing to view 1. You can see view 1 was already created just before we created this view 2. So it was created by default when I created the application. So now I have to create the page for view 2 as well. Okay, so for that I'm going to give it as var page 2 equal to, I'll copy this code here and paste it over here. Okay, so I just need to make some modifications in this. I need to say that it should point to view 2, the new view which we have created, and in the ID section we have to give a new ID for the page 2, which is the ID view 1 2. Okay, then what you need to do is, here you can see the page is added to the app container. Okay, app is the main container, and you can see the page got added to this. Now we have to add our page 2 as well to this app. Okay, for that we can just write it as app.add page and page 2. Okay, you can also write the add page 2 along with this page 1. Okay, you can also write it like this also, but for the time being I'm just I'll just, to make things very clear, I'm just writing it separately. And so this app is placed at the content. Okay, you can see in the, where is the content now? Content seems to be inside this body of the HTML tag. Okay, this is the opening of the HTML, closing of the HTML. In the body you are placing the content, and inside the content you are placing the app container. And the app now holds page 1 and page 2. Okay, now you have it ready. Okay, now you can say, you can go back to the controller view 1. Okay, and then you can say app.to, and you can mention the ID of the page 2, because we are navigating from page 1 to page 2. Okay, so you can mention it as ID view 1 2. I'll give the same name here. Okay, so this is what I'm saying to this controller event. I'm saying that you have to navigate to the view 2 from view 1. Okay, now if I go back to I'll just to make things a bit more interesting, I'll give the button type as something different. Okay, so in my case I'll give it as button type dot you can go to the UI5 library to see what all items you can include in the button. Okay, so you have something called emphasized. Okay, just to color the button. Okay, so I'll save this. I'll save all the pages. Okay, before we check the output, you have a button here. You did not place it in the content of the page. What you need to do is, inside the page container, the page it's very empty because you don't have anything inside the content. Okay, what you need to do is, you need to place the button inside this page. For that you just copy this and place it inside the content of the page. Save this. Okay, now you refresh this. You can see in the page 1, you can see this button called click me, which we created in view 1. Okay, now this is view 1, and if you click on click me, it has to navigate to view 2, and see, it is navigating to page 2. Very well, it worked very well. Okay, now what I need to do is, I'll go back to view 2 and I'm going to create a button here as well. Okay, I'll create var o button equal to new sap.m.button, and in the bracket I'll give an ID name as button 2. Okay, and I'll give the text as go back or something like that. Okay, and I'll place a comma, and then I'll write the event press. On press of the button, what I need to do, you go to the controller and then go to the back event. Okay, so back is the function which will get executed once you press the button in page 2. Okay, and what I'll do is, I'll place this button inside this content as well for the page 2. Okay, so now I have the back function. I need to go to the controller of view 2 and mention this inside this controller. So I'll write it here, back. Okay, function, and I'll say app.to And what is the ID of page 1 or view 1? It is ID view 1. Okay, so I'll go back to view 2 controller and then mention this ID view 1 there. Okay, save this. Okay, save this. Now go back to the index.html, refresh this, click me, you can see page 1 appearing. Okay, and then click on click me, it takes you to page 2. Okay, and here there's a button called go back. Once I press on go back, it takes me back to the view 1. Okay, so this is simple navigation. I mean, it's not so complicated things what I'm discussing. I'm just telling you the basics of navigation, how it works in the SAP UI5 application. So here I have this, and you can do one more thing here, because the app container is in the index.html page. Okay, you can see it is written in the index.html page. You can very well make use of this app dot keyword. Okay, you can just navigate to the method 2 of this app container. Okay, you can just go just directly like that. But some cases what happens is that this app is not necessarily need to be in the index.html page. It can be in a different view. Okay, to decrease the load in the index.html page, you just don't write all this in the index.html page. You write it in a different view and create the load there, not in the index.html page. In that case, how do you navigate? Because app.to does not work in that case, because it is an index.html, it acts like a global variable. Okay, so in the other cases, what you need to do is, you have to write something called sap.ui.get code. Okay, you have to go to the code library and then fetch the ID of the element. Okay, in our case for app, we don't have an ID as of now. Okay, so we have to give an ID for this. For timing, I'll give it as my app. Okay, and we have to make use of this my app ID. Okay, and then we have to mention the same to keyword. Okay, we have to go to the method 2 of this code of this main app. Okay, and then we have to mention the ID of the view 2 here. Okay, now save this, and then what I'll do is I'll refresh this page again. Well, that also works in this case. So click me, it takes you to page 2, and go back, it takes you to page 1. So this is how you deal with navigation in SAP UI5 application. In case if you don't have this app inside this index.html, you have to make use of this sap.ui.get code, and this is how we do it in UI5. You have to get the ID of the element by using sap.ui.get code by ID. Okay, and then you can do most of the work inside this SAP UI5 application. So that's it, guys, about navigation in UI5 application, the basics. Okay, just the basics I've covered. So if you have any questions, just put it in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.